Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and today's video. It is one that is very long overdue. We are going to take a look at my morning skincare routine. Now I've decided to break this up into two videos because we don't want to be here all day. So today is morning and the next video will be my evening skincare routine. Now I've been asked to do this video a lot and I've had a lot of questions about the particular types of products that I use. And I think the reason it has taken me so long to do this, it's been 2 years since my last one, is because it doesn't stay the same. While my steps tend to stay the same, the products that I'm using, even the types of products that I use, can change somewhat regularly based on my skin. I really listen to my skin, and some days it might be aggravated, some days it might be dehydrated, so I really just try to pay attention to what my skin needs, and then I give it what it's asking for, which could be quite different from what I gave it yesterday. That is what leads me to my first thing. It's really understanding your skin and understanding your skin right now. Because if there's one thing I've learned in the past year or so is that your skin changes. Now, it can go from oily to combination to dry to balanced. And it can do all that within the span of a year. And I found that out myself. Now, if you've been here before, you've heard me talk many times about Skin Trust Club, because that allows me to identify the changes in my skin and then adjust my products accordingly. So I have now taken 3 tests. So what happens is they send it to your house, you do a little swab on the outside of your cheek and you send it to the lab for analysis. And then they send you via the app really comprehensive review of what's happening with your skin, because they're testing the bacteria on your skin. And you want to get as close to 100 as you can on the scale of 1 to 100. And 80 to 100 is balanced. And what we want is balanced skin. It means all the bacteria are living harmoniously together and they're happy and they're doing what they should be. The first test I got was a 67. I nearly cried. And it told me that my skin was oily. And I don't have oily skin. I've actually never had oily skin, not even as a teenager, but it turns out I was. And I had to make some changes in order to bring that back to balanced. So things like adding in more exfoliation and changing to products that weren't too heavy for my skin. The next time I tested it, I think maybe 4 months later, I had a 90%. So for me, hallelujah. That meant my skin was nice and balanced and I just needed to keep going. Then the last test I did, I think it was in February, my skin was 34 and uber dry. So I later realized that that was because I made some pretty significant changes to my nutrition, and that has obviously impacted my skin. So the whole point of the story is know what your skin's like and then adjust accordingly. Okay, and before we get stuck in, one more little thing, maybe 2. First is you don't need to do all of this. I have a lot of products sitting here right now, and that is because I love this. This is self-care. This is ritualistic. This gives me joy. Some people would rather go for a run, and that is great. So if you are not someone who's mad into skincare and you don't want to do all of these layering steps, you don't have to. You need 3 products. You pretty much need a moisturizer, you need an SPF, and you need a cleanser to take off the SPF. That's all you need, 3. So if you want something simple, there are so many great products that can do a whole lot more, and you can build in extra actives and things that are real powerhouses with very few steps. Me, I have loads of steps. And the last thing is you can get really good products at any price point. There are loads of really good products you can get at the drugstore. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a drugstore skincare video. So if you're interested in that kind of video, let me know. Just put your requests down below. So I have a good mix here. Some people like to buy shoes. I like to buy skincare. So I have some, different price levels, and I'll try to talk you through some of them. Okay. First thing I do every single morning is I cleanse my face. I do that in the shower, and it's simple. It's a single cleanse, and it's usually something quite gentle. Now, as you can see, I've just gotten out of the shower, and there are a couple of products that I use for that. This one I have been using for years and years and years. This is by CeraVe. It is their hydrating cleanser. It's cheap as chips. You can buy it just about anywhere. Big old thing lasts forever. I love it. I think I actually used that one this morning. Now the other 2 that I have in kind of regular rotation is, this one is by Allies of Skin. It is their Molecular Silk Amino Hydrating Cleanser. This has amino acids, it has oils in it. It's great for a first or second cleanse, and I love this in the shower. So those 2 tend to stay in the shower for me, and I use quite regularly. And I kind of interchange them. No rhyme or reason as to why or when. The last one I use specifically if I'm in the oily phase. This is by Blurred London. It is called the Everyday Cleanser. When I realized my skin was oily, I really had to make a change because I love really heavy, rich moisturizers and layering lots of hydrating products. I had to back up the train on that. And Blurred London actually saved me because they have a very small range at the moment, but everything is geared towards people with combination and oily skin. They have a cleanser, a toner, and a moisturizer. And this is what I was using every day, morning and as my second cleanse in the evening. And it's actually really hydrating despite the fact it's there to help balance our skin. So if you have oily skin or combination, you need to run straight over to Blur London. It is super affordable. And even though they're from London, they pay all the import charges. So they pay import charges to me here in Ireland, and they will pay them for you in the US if that's where you are too. So they're definitely worth a check out. Okay, I'm not doing this today, but if I was gonna do exfoliating, I would be doing that first. And I use this one here by Maysama. It is their Green Rooibos Gentle Resurfacing Toner. It has a couple of different acids in it. It has BHA, AHA, and PHA, but I find this very gentle on the skin, and it's really designed for people who have sensitive skin. So I do this once, maybe twice a week. I just put a little bit on a cotton pad and I run that all over my face and I'm done. I do a heavier exfoliation once a week on the weekend, but this is what gets me through the week, and I love it. It lasts forever. I think I've had this for over a year, and I just love all of the Maysama products, so this for me is a real winner. Now, another one you can do, and I did for years, was by The Ordinary. It was their 10% lactic acid. And I think I used that daily for years. And then I went through a little bump and I stopped all the exfoliation. And when I restarted, I actually went for the Maysama instead. But that's another option that's super affordable and actually still quite gentle. Okay, this is my first device. My first device of this video. This is the Nira Laser. This is a non-fractional laser device that is designed to fight the signs of aging. So this little guy you put against your skin, and it has to be on dry skin. So what this does is gently heats up the dermis, and in doing so helps to stimulate collagen production, which is going to plump out our fine lines and wrinkles. It's also going to strengthen the skin. So I am using it in a very, I'm just going to put this on now. I find it really strong, so I can't go as strong as other people would, but you put this here, and you can tell when it makes that beeping noise that it's not making contact. I'm using this only right now on the crow's feet, and it takes a 2-minute cycle, and I do this on both eyes every morning. So I can live with 2 minutes, I can fit it into my routine, and I'm only doing it on my crow's feet. Now, I've seen people using this with incredible results. A lot of people I follow here on YouTube, actually. I've seen people using it for their 11s, their marionette lines. I've seen them using it on also the upper eyelids here, because it helps to really strengthen the skin. So if you have hooded eyes, this is a product you might be interested in. So I do that for 2 minutes on each eye while my skin is dry. Okay, so that's my first device. And sometimes it's the only, it really just depends on how much time I have. Okay, so now I have perfectly dry skin. And the next step would be optional. I'm not doing it at the minute, but if I was gonna use a toner, this is when I would do it. Now, I don't have a hydrating toner. I know that my skin is super dry right now because Skin Trust told me so. So I'm looking for hydration products to layer across my entire routine. I don't have a hydrating toner. So I don't know, if you have any recommendations, do me a favor and put that down below. I heard recently Laneige, I think that's how you pronounce it, have come out with a really good one that I might look into, but for right now, I don't have one. Now, if I had oily skin, I would be all over this one by Blur London. It's probably my favorite toner I've ever used, actually, and because I find it really hydrating despite the fact that it's balancing there, and it's designed to really help control the sebum production, so which is great for oily skin. I love this product. I'm actually almost out of it and probably need to get a new one, but right now it's just not a step I'm doing. So this is where things start to get wonky when we talk about the order of things. Now, in general, you would want to apply your products from thin to thick. That's the rule of thumb. But some of the products that I'm using right now want to be on dry skin, therefore it actually changes things up. Now, usually I would mist right now and then I would start all my products, but because the first product I'm going to do today is a vitamin C, and it's a water-based vitamin C, so that needs to be applied to dry skin. So usually I would do that a few levels down, but we're going to start off today. So the one I'm using at the minute is by Geek and Gorgeous, and this is their C Glow, which is a 15% vitamin C. It also contains vitamin E and ferulic acid. And I have to say, I love this company. They are Hungarian, and which for me is great because they're within the EU and I can have things shipped here without having to pay any duties, despite the fact that the shipping's kind of high, but whatever. Super affordable range. I think this is €8. And it's a watery consistency, just like so many of the other ones out there. This is what I just like. Which I kind of don't think that the watery is my favorite because it's kind of hard to control and hard to put on. But for the price, I think it's great. Antioxidants are critical, and that's why I always have a vitamin C in my routine. Now, I often have antioxidants within other products as well, but for me, it's a no-brainer. It's just so good at protecting the skin, which is what we need. It also can help with brightening the skin as well. But this was really easy to use. Put it all over. For me, products always go on face, neck, chest, and the back of the hands. So that pretty much disappears. It's gone. Now for me, I store this in my little mini fridge over here because vitamin C, a water-based vitamin C, is highly unstable. It doesn't like the sun, it doesn't like heat, it doesn't like air. So I keep that in my little fridge so it keeps it nice and stable. So this is great. However, it's not going to be perfect for those of you living in the US because you will have to import it and you will have to pay shipping. Another great one then for the US would be Timeless. They have a vitamin C with vitamin E and ferulic as well. I use that for years. It's excellent. I think it's around $20, so it's super, super affordable. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. And then of course there is the Mac Daddy, little teeny tiny guy here. This is the SkinCeuticals, which is sort of the grandfather, the original when it comes to vitamin C, that has lots and lots of research to back up its effectiveness. I've never tried it before. I've been using vitamin C for more than 10 years. I had never used SkinCeuticals, mostly because I can't afford it. Like their regular size is 100, and here in Ireland anyway, I think it's 180 euros. Like that's bonkers. So I never bothered to try it because I didn't want to like it. And I just assumed it was going to have the same consistency as this because people say that this could be considered a dupe. It's not. I tried it. I got this as a free sample. The brand was doing something in conjunction with somebody I follow over on Instagram, and I loved it because even though it's water-based and it's kind of slippery, it's way more moisturizing than I thought it was going to be. It was hydrating. Like I felt that my skin felt hydrated, which it doesn't feel right now with the existing one. But look, I'm not going to pay 180. I'm sorry. If I was rich, I would. So if you're rich, you should, because it's that good. Now, ordinarily, the next thing I would do is mist, but I am also trying another product right now that needs to go on dry skin. Now, while I have already put on the vitamin C, it's mostly absorbed. So my skin is dryish. So I always have in my routine what I call a special serum, a serum that's there to do something in particular. And everybody has different needs and requirements, right? So the one that I'm using right now is by a company, I think it's called Iray, I don't even know. And I think these guys are doing something really different. This is called the Deep Tox Radiance Firming System. I know that the range has a serum and eye product as well as a moisturizer. And their products help support our lymphatic system. And I've never heard of any other products doing this. So they say that by helping to drain the excess water retention in our skin, that it helps to firm and sculpt the face. I mean, I've never heard of anybody doing this. Have you? I certainly had not. So I do 2 pumps of this and I put this on all over those places. Now, I bought this during their Black Friday sale. It's one of those things that had been on my radar for a while. I think it comes out of the UK, but I could... Nope, it's Swiss. It says Swiss Science on the bottle. Well, what I can tell you is that I'm loving it. It's still early days. I've only been using it for a matter of weeks. I'm doing this morning and night, and I think something is happening here, people. I likely will be doing a follow-up video on this alone. I take pictures regularly. I think something is happening here. So this I'm putting on as close to dry skin as possible, and that's my Iray. Okay, so now I go into mists. I am a serial mister. If you've been here before, you know that. I generally like to mist in between my phases, because it helps to lock in hydration. It helps products to absorb better. So unless something says you can't do that, I will always do that. This is my holy grail. It is my Niod Superoxide Dismutase Saccharide Mist. I love this. I just buy bottle after bottle. It is actually more of an antioxidant mist than anything. So it's just giving my skin further protection. This big long thing lasts for months. I think it runs about 50 euros. Just got a brand new one, just cracked it open today. Some other options that are more affordable. Now, I love this one by Bioma. This is their Balancing Face Mist. It is super affordable. The whole Bioma range is amazing in my opinion. You can get it in Target, you can get it in Boots over here on this side of the pond. Super, super affordable. And all of their products are designed to protect our natural microbiome. It has ceramides, it has allantoin, which is there to help soothe and to reduce redness. It has probiotics, and it's just cheap. I'm actually almost out of it. It is almost gone. And that's one I would definitely repurchase. And a new one that I added to the collection was also by Geek and Gorgeous. I think this cost about 6 or 8 euros too. This is called Liquid Hydration. It has 5% panthenol, which I know my skin needs right now. And it also has NMF. Oh, it says toner. Ha! I guess this is a toner. There you go. So this is another beautiful one. So I do a bit of a spritz and then I move on. Right now, because I know my skin is uber dry, and most times I will use a hydration step. I will put something in that represents hydration, even in addition to the mists. The one that I use all the time, and I talk about on this channel constantly, is my Snail Mucin by CosRx. I love this stuff. I think it grosses Gary out every time I use it. You can see his face right now. I find this deeply hydrating. And that's the name of the game for me, because hydrated skin equals youthful skin. I can't run away from aging, and that's fine. I'm totally cool with it. I have wrinkles, you know, it's going to happen. I'm 52. But I can make sure that my skin looks its best. And for me, that's all about hydration. It just looks better when it's plump and when it's dewy, and that to me is hydration. Another thing that's so great about this is it's completely affordable. I think it's about 15 euros. I get mine from Stalvana, and I just repurchase that whenever I'm out. Another option I sometimes use for the layering step is the one by Bioma. It is their hydrating serum. It's just as yummy, packed with ceramides. It's just fantastic. And then there's what I call the Rolls Royce, and this is the one by Oskia. This is the Isotonic Hydra Serum. This is the most hydrating thing I've ever put on my face. I can't say anything other than that. I love it. It's expensive. It's about 65 pounds. The first one I got is part of a kit, so I kind of got it for free. I did buy this one. I'm getting low on it. I will probably repurchase. I'm a little slower too because it's really expensive, but it's the best one I have. Okay, so after that I mist again. And then I go in with my first eye product. You don't need separate eye products. I do. You don't. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but I do. So I use this one by Nira. It is the Fractionated Eye Contour Concentrate. You've seen this 100 times here. I put a very little bit on my ring finger and I tap this under. This product has been instrumental in fixing the crepiness under my eyes, because this area for me is where I'm focusing. It's one of my areas of attention because I think that's where I'm showing the aging. Like I said, I can't get rid of the wrinkles, but I can make sure that the skin around it is kept nice and hydrated. And this has been absolutely instrumental in helping to fix the area. I always put a little bit of it on my lips too. Sometimes if I'm doing okay on time, I will use my Venus by Even Skin. This device is designed to help rejuvenate specifically that gentle area around our eyes. So it is really good for lifting the eyelids. You can use it up here if you have hooded eyes. It helps with depuffing the area under the eyes, and it also helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It has 2 different types of LED light therapy. It has a sonic massage, and I just find this extremely relaxing, and I just find that it helps to rejuvenate the eyes. So with this, I'm not going to do it right now, but if I use this, I do this for about 2 minutes on each eye, and I use an oil because you want something that has a good amount of slip. So I use this a couple of times a week, and it just helps to wake everything up. Next up is my eye cream, and this one is by my beloved Allies of Skin. It is the Peptides and Omegas Firming Eye Cream. No surprise to you guys, I use this every day. So for me, using both this and the Nira Eye Serum together are my little powerhouse duo. I use both of them every single day, morning and night, and it's kind of non-negotiable. To the point now that I actually haven't tested any other products around the eye space. And there's nothing else I can say that about. It is the only category that I haven't ventured out, and people say, oh, you should try this. And I'm like, I really want to, but I really don't want to stop using these because these do not look like 52-year-old eyes as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so next up ordinarily would be a specialty serum, and I did mine in the very beginning, which is the Eye serum, but this is generally where I would add in something like a growth factor, or I would add in a peptide serum. Depends on the needs, and everybody's need is going to be different. So for me, I'm looking for hydration, but I'm trying out the special serum that's supposed to help with kind of sculpting the face. There's always going to be something in here. Yours might be hyperpigmentation. Whatever it is, this is where I would add in something that's quite specific. Now, for some of you, this might be the vitamin C step, and that's all you need. You just want something that gives you the antioxidant protection, and I have other serums just for that purpose too. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to address or what additional protection you feel you need. Next up is the moisturizer. Everybody needs a moisturizer because that's going to kind of seal everything in, right? So I have so many that I use, and I'd say if I could only have one for the rest of my life, it would be this. It is the Allies of Skin. It is the Peptides and Antioxidants Firming Daily Treatment. You hear me talk about it all the time, because it's kind of a one and done. It has so many good things in it that this is really all you need. It has peptides, it has brighteners, it has antioxidants. It's going to protect your skin, it's going to soothe your skin, it's going to help your skin. So this one I use more days than I don't. But I also have a bunch of other stuff I use. If your skin is oily, this is not going to surprise you. It's Back to Blur. This is their Cloud Skin Moisturizer. And I use this if my skin is feeling balanced. It doesn't have to be oily. Oily or balanced, this is what I use. It's lightweight, but it's still deeply hydrating. It is perfect for summer. I need to get out of my dry skin rut right now, and once I do, I'm going to come back to this. I think it's gorgeous, and again, super affordable. Bioma, again on that same line, they have a gorgeous gel moisturizer if your skin is on the oilier side. They've just come out with a heavier cream that I haven't gotten yet, so I'm going to be trying that one out. A couple others that I really love would be this one by Dew. I recently started using this, and in fact my friend Cindy over at Beyond 50 Skin turned me onto this. This is just packed with so many good ingredients. It has peptides, ceramides, glycerin, squalane, like all the good stuff, particularly for mature skin, and I think it only runs about $45, so that's a winner. A new one to my arsenal is by Josh Rosebrook. It is called the Ultra Peptide Cream. I got this as part of a kit at a really reasonable price. It is gorgeous. It is for people who have dry skin, I think. They say it's good for everybody. For me, it's deeply hydrating. It's almost gone, and I'm very, very sad. In fact, I'm going to put that one on right now because my skin, we know, is quite dry. And I'm going to put this one on now. Put that all over, rub it in. It has an unusual scent. I like it. It's kind of earthy. And I just love the feel of this on my skin. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I can't buy this here. It's just too expensive to import. Whether it comes from the UK or comes from the States, I have to pay massive fees to get it in. So I'm just not. So when I go back to the States, I'm going to buy some more. He's got other products I want. His Vital Balm is supposed to be amazing, as is his Accelerator Mist. I will be buying both of those when I go back this summer. So Josh Rosebrook, if you're listening, please get an EU distributor. I would buy your products if I could get them. Then the very last one I want to mention, it's kind of a repair product when it comes to moisturizing. This one is by La Roche-Posay. It is their Cicaplast Balm B5. You've probably heard of it. It's kind of a cult classic. This to me is a rescue remedy when my skin is super damaged or irritated. You know, if I've had a bad reaction to something, this is what I go for. It is uber thick. It is not for the faint-hearted. And I find that post-medical microneedling, oh, by the way, none of these can be used with medical microneedling. None. I mean, I'll go days before I touch these. And I do that every 4 or 6 weeks. In fact, there's only one product I use during and after medical microneedling, and is this one by Calisum. I've talked about Calisum Professional a lot. It is the only thing I will use on my skin because you have these open channels, and if you put anything into your skin, and I introduce something too soon, and my skin, let's just say it wasn't pretty. So usually after medical microneedling, for about a week, I have really dry skin, intensely dry skin. It's that transepidermal water loss. So I need something that's going to be a lot more hydrating. So I don't use a whole lot of these products. I don't do vitamin C. I usually don't do my retinoids for quite a few days, usually 3 or 4 days, maybe 5. I use this. I find this just really rehydrates my skin. It protects it. It's soothing. So this is when I use that. So it's sort of a specialty product. The next would be an optional stage, and it depends on how my skin's doing, and that's oils. Now, I love oils. So when I had oily skin and I wasn't able to layer these on, I was very sad. So the order of my oils will depend on how thick my moisturizer is. If I'm using a thin moisturizer, then I would put the oil on last. That will go on top. But if I'm using a super uber thick moisturizer, I would generally put that on last. So it just kind of depends on the routine. Now, I have one real holy grail oil product that I have loved for years, much longer than I've been here. And that is my True Botanicals. It is the Pure Radiance Oil. This is the Mac Daddy of oils for me, and it's flexible. I can use this as a moisturizer alone and nothing else, depending on how my skin is doing, or if I need to layer it, this is the one I go to. The one I've been using a lot the past couple of months, which was gifted to me, was by Fortuna Skin, and this is a brand that I have to say I love absolutely everything about them, but this is very, very expensive. This runs about $250, so I'm going to be very sad when that bottle comes to an end, because it's probably out of my price range, but it is beautiful. So if you have an interest, they are out of Sicily. Everything they do comes from the source of the olive trees on their farm. Pretty cool stuff. So my skin is pretty hydrated right now, so I'm not going to put any oil on. Funnily enough, I probably will tonight before I go to bed, but for right now, I'm going to leave it alone. Although sometimes I would use a vitamin C product that is oil-based. And if I do that, I might do that at the last phase as well. So one I've used for years is by Oskia, and they're these little capsules, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Pestle and Mortar also does a beautiful oil-based vitamin C product. I just bought the one by Biossance, which is the vitamin C and rose oil, and I haven't even opened it yet. I want to get through that one first, and then I'll be checking that out. But that's probably where I would do it, is at this phase. Okay, we're getting to the end. Usually what I do, and it seems like it takes a really long time, but it doesn't. This takes me, if I'm not using devices, this whole thing takes me just a couple of minutes. If I am, it might be 10 minutes. And then usually I go downstairs, let the dog out, get a cup of coffee, come back up here, and then I put on my sunscreen. because that's the most important out of pretty much everything we're doing here is the sunscreen. Now, I have favorites, and this is a place where I play around a lot because I'm always trying to find ways of expanding my holy grail sunscreen stash, because sometimes you want something thick, sometimes you want something thin, sometimes tinted, sometimes not. You know, some under makeup, some not. So anyway, I love sunscreens. So one of my holy grails that I keep buying again and again is this by Dermatology. It is the Universal Tinted Moisturizer SPF 45. I love it. It's tinted. It's a great color. It's hydrating, but not, you know, it's not oily. I absolutely adore it. What I don't have here, because I'm out of it, is my Beauty of Joseon. Ugh. It's holy grail status, as you probably know, having been here before. I have a couple of other ones that I am testing out in the Korean sunscreen space. Both of these I love. One is by Make Prem. It's the light and refreshing sun essence with full, that can't be what the name it is, come on. It's UV Defense Me, but I know they have a couple of them. Anyway, gorgeous. And this other one is by Madagascar Centella. And that's the one I'm going to put on right now. Now, usually what I do is 2 different applications to make sure that I get enough coverage. This one is just so nice. It just disappears into the skin. You don't even know it's there. Oh, it's so nice. My skin just feels so good right now, can I tell you? Feels like butter. And then I go in with another one. Oh, might have been a little heavy-handed with that one there. I know that I don't have to tell you this is the most important anti-aging thing you can do for your skin, is to protect it, because I was reading a statistic that said 80% of aging comes from UV rays. Like, that's slightly terrifying, and it's particularly when you get to be my age. If you're young, you can still help yourself. If only I'd known. My mama didn't know. I didn't wear sunscreen in the 70s. I put on way too much there. I was a little heavy-handed with it. By the way, there's a mirror right there. In case you wonder why I keep looking down, that is why. Just making sure that it's all rubbed in. Okay. So that's it, guys. That is today's video. That was my morning skincare routine. I can probably get dressed now and go out and start my day. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it answers some of the questions that have been floating around out there. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you do all this crazy stuff, or is it just me? I really hope it's not just me. I think Gary thinks it's just me. Somebody please save me and tell me that's not the truth. And are there any products here that you like? Are there other products that you think I should try? Because I'm always on the hunt. These are the guys that serve me well and I'm enjoying. So thank you so much for joining. So if you like the look at today's video, please do subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. And I really hope I get to see you at the next one. Bye. Is this weird?
Recording now.
Is that your way of shutting me up? Got it.